Shalom, brothers and sisters. So think about it Thursday. Shalom, shalom. It's Brother Denal
Brother Azrael.
Brother Yeshaya.
coming back with a think about it Thursday. It's gonna be a little something different, man. You know, a lot of the times we get on here, it's more so tailored towards the spiritual aspect of things. This is gonna be a think about it Thursday. Just giving an exhortation to the I guess the carnal um aspect of things, right? And you know, it's important to focus on the spiritual aspect of things all the time, but in duality, we do live in a carnal world as well, and we do fight with carnal battles, right? And we know that they all stem from spiritual things, but we do end up fighting a lot of them in the carnal, right? Today's lesson is going to be on pursuing financial freedom, right? So it's going to be an exhortation on pursuing financial freedom. I think a lot of brothers in this truth, man, are dealing with this. You know, a lot of us are younger. A lot of us weren't in the military and didn't have the luxury of retiring and getting a disability check from month to month. You know, so a lot of us are kind of just, you know, trying to figure it out, get it out the mud. And so this is just going to be kind of best practices or key practices on pursuing financial freedom, especially if you're a man of the Lord, right? Um, Real quick, I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna share with you guys a post that I seen earlier today, man. At first, you know, I thought it was folly, and as I was reading it, you know, I was like, man, it's some truth to that. So hopefully you guys like it, and then after we show this post, man, we'll get straight into it. All right. Uh, if it's showing, if I can have one of you brothers read that out loud for me.
Do crackheads ever say, I'm too broke to tweak tonight? Nah, they get up and make it happen.
Right, man. You know, and just to start off with a little humor, you know, it's folly, but it's factual. You know, crackheads never miss an opportunity to tweak out, so to speak. Right, they tweak out every day. Right, that's why they're labeled crackheads, right? Because they can't stop tweaking out. And they might start the day off broke, but by the end of the day, you know, they get what they wanted or what they were fiending for when they woke up, right? And a lot of times, man, just by, you know, I bring this instance out, which is the crackhead difference, right? But the same thing for us, right? Who are sober minded, you know, the same thing for us as we get up every day, and a lot of us are longing for things and desire things, and sometimes we can be in a spirit of delay, right? Where we're just waiting for something to happen, waiting for our big break, you know, waiting for you know, our financial freedom, and the avenues that we can take to appear. And sometimes we got to just go out there and make it happen, like the post says. We got to go make it happen, right? If you think about animals in nature, right? Animals in nature, they go out and they make it happen. You know, they're hungry. They go out. They might travel miles and miles before they finally see that gazelle. But when they see that gazelle, they capitalize on it, right? But first and foremost, they had to be able to get up willingly, rather early. A lot of animals have that internal alarm clock where they wake up rather early and travel those miles, right? A lot of times that traveling miles is the hard part, man, because you know you travel all those miles and you don't really know if you're gonna capitalize on anything at the end of it all, right? Or if it's gonna be for nothing. But more times than not, right? They always are find an opportunity where they can fill their bellies, right? Um, but Khan, that's what the lesson's gonna be about today. First and foremost, I'm gonna go ahead and salute him for us, man, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of His Son, who we find as an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? The nation of Israel, who is our hearts and prayers desire will all come into this truth, man, and be delivered out of all the lands of our captivities, that disperse around the world, all nations. And so, with that being said, man, we're gonna get into this for our brothers that are in the land of captivity, striving and pursuing financial freedom. Any brothers got anything to say?
Men of Israel, salute.
No folly, no folly. But here we go, man. If you can read this first precept for me really quick. Shalom to the brother Weldit, and shalom to the brother Roland or Makarov RS. I didn't want to Salaki for saying your real name, right? Makarov Anji,
Strong rebuke tonight.
right? I go back. I might go back and edit that out, right? I had to put might in there because it might not happen. But if you go ahead and read the first precept for me, my brother.
Proverbs 13 and 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life.
Come, man. It says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick, right? A lot of us desire things, right? We hope for things. And in this according to this lesson, man, we're talking about financially. We desire things, whether that be a job. We talked to a brother, not the brother Yeshaya, was teaching a brother not too long ago, man, and all he said he desired, man, it was a job and to get on a schedule, right? That's all he's longing for. Some of us desire jobs, some of us desire new vehicles, some of us desire, whether it's miscellaneous stuff like hunting gear or, new tennis shoes or something. We have these desires, and whenever they're deferred, whenever we're in a season of delay, right? It says that it makes our heart sick. You know how it is when you're constant you apply for a job, you went on the interview, and you're waiting to hear back, and they're taking 3-4 weeks to get back to you, to give you a yay or nay, or sometimes they don't even call you back to give you a yay or nay, right? That hope deferred makes your heart sick, right? We know when you're waiting to get approved for a house, for a car, for just a loan in general, that hope deferred makes someone's heart sick, right? You're up all night, you can't sleep, right? And a lot of times it brings about a spirit of idleness, and we'll get into that too. But just putting emphasis on hope deferred will make your heart sick. Just waiting for anything that you're hoping for, right? It makes your heart sick. Spiritually, right? I know this is more so about finance, but spiritually, right? That hope deferred in our deliverance out of our lands of captivities, right? That makes us sick, right? Pursuant to Ecclesiastes 7:7, where it says, oppression maketh a wise man mad," right? Not to get off topic, but just honing in on the fact that anything hoped for, when it's deferred, it will make you sick, right? Keep you up at night. And the second part says, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Whenever you get that thing, right, it is a tree of life, right? And that's the point of this lesson, man, that hopefully we can get some takeaways, and we can all move in a direction that's faster, in our seasons of delays, and our seasons of deferred, that will lead us to that tree of life, right? Again, not necessarily spiritual in this video, but on a carnal level, right? Because we were issued to plant vineyards, have families, build houses, and carry on with life in this carnality of life. And so there is a duality aspect of it that we can pursue, right? David said he never saw the righteous forsaken, nor begging for bread, right? So there is the aspects of it that we can live, the way we desire to on this earth, as long as it's in righteousness, right? Brothers, had anything to say?
Oh man, we also are subject to settled debts. So with that being said, and being in oppression, we have to pay those settled debts. Like, what did Christ say? Give Caesar what's Caesar's. And we all have been given Caesar what's Caesar's for a long time. I know for, as long as I've been a so-called young adult, I've been given Caesar what's his, whether that be rent, whether that be taxes, whether that be um, payments on a car, insurance, right? All of that, what I'm saying, has to get done. But like this verse says, what I'm saying, we find hope in promotions, we find hope in new jobs, we find hope in all these things to make our oppression lighter. And when it gets deferred, meaning they cancel us, or they don't give us the promotion, or it gets prolonged, yeah, that makes us sick, man. You know what I'm saying? I talked to a brother not too long ago, a good brother of ours, and shout out to the brother George, right? He was telling me how he's been at the company for I don't know how many years, and they promoted this Edomite over him that started after him, and said, man, he told me, he said, man, that Edomite better not be trying to run the show and try to boss me around, because it ain't happening. He said, I be putting Esau in his place at work. You know what I'm saying? He said, but that all that is saying is that hope that he was going to get the promotion and they gave it to somebody else was deferred. It made his heart sick, right?
Mhm.
When our true desire come, which is our salvation and our rest out of this place, like the brother said, this is not a spiritual video, but making it spiritual. When that true rest and that true desire come, that'll be our tree of life.
Come on, man. Just thinking, man. And for the brother Makarov, right? You'll like this video, man. I know you like staying in the book of Proverbs a lot, and that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna go here and there to other places, but I know you like the book of Proverbs, so you'll like this. But I got to thinking, man, and when it says hope deferred maketh the heart sick, and just thinking about how that alone, man, sometimes that hope deferred is caused by our own people sometimes, man. And I feel like it's the enemy's way for making our eye evil towards each other, right? Because they say when Negroes get in power, man, we just a different breed. Sometimes we trying to get away from Esau, but working for ourselves is not that good either, man. Even when you dealing with our people in HR. That's one thing I wanted to say, man. This is off the record, but our people, when we're working in HR, are the worst. I'm sorry. Hands down, we are the worst. You don't want to pick up the phone. If you do pick up the phone, you're short and you want to get an attitude. You procrastinate, you put stuff off and stuff like that. And I just want, if you working in HR and you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American, and you're in charge of or you're handling people's livelihoods, man, I beg you that you be diligent in your work, right? Be not slothful in business, right? Because it really, you got people sitting at home waiting for a call back and things of that nature, right? You're driving their hope to be deferred, and you're making them sick. And then they got an eye evil towards you. Now they calling you all types of names and whatnot, because you sitting up there and all you doing is on your phone in front of the desk. That's off the record. I'm just saying. But nonetheless, man, how do we get to the tree of life on this earth, man, to where we feel like that rest, we can take a load off sometimes, right? And it's kind of a double entendre, because with that rest comes a lot of work, right? And so there's it's kind of give or take here or there, but the brothers want to put, I know brother Yeshaya had a precept. Do you want to pull it right now, or do you want to wait?
Oh, good. Yeah, we keep going.
Con, if you could stay in the same chapter and get me verse 4. All right. If you could read that for me.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 4. The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat.
Come on, man. The soul of the sluggard desireth and has nothing, man. A lot of us desire to have things, and we expect it to just fall in our lap, right? The brother mentioned integrity not too long ago, man. It's something that we all have to keep in mind. I know as so-called blacks and Hispanics, man, we get out here in these work fields and we feel like the world owes us something, and it does. The world does, right? Uh, but you know what I'm saying? That doesn't give us a right to be sluggard, right? And so when you desire something, man, you got to go full speed and attack it, man. It says the soul of the sluggard desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. Like that post we started with, right? That crackhead is always going to be made fat because he's not going to be sluggard when it comes to a getting what he wants, right? By any means necessary, he's going to get his fix by the end of the day, right? And that's how you should be, right? And what you want, right? Don't expect things to just happen for you, right? Because you know the sluggard will always have his hope deferred, if that makes sense, right? Give me the book of Proverbs 20, chapter 21 and verse 25, right? And we got some good ones in here to make y'all. It's gonna make y'all think outside the box here in a second, right? But if you go ahead and read that.
Proverbs
Proverbs 21 and 25, it says, "The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor."
Right, man. Always there's people out there, man, that desire things, right? Um, and then, their hope gets deferred and makes them sick, right? Their hands refuse to labor, right? They come up with all they come up with all these business plans and business adventures, but don't want to get their hands dirty, right? And it puts them in a place of stagnance or complacency, right? And at the end of the day, you can come up with business ventures and business plans, but brothers, let me tell you, if you're not willing to do the dirty work, get your hands involved, right? You're gonna end up with the same result, and that's your hope being deferred, right? That's your hope being deferred. Give me Proverbs 20 and 4, right? Now we're gonna attack some of the ailments that we all have when it comes to kind of switching over to going to get it. Go get your own bag, right? Um, brother posted Proverbs 25 and 14. Whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds in a wind without rain. Con, right? Um, Proverbs 20 and 4. Could you read that for me?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg and harvest and have nothing.
Right, man. A lot of people want that harvest when it comes, but there any little thing that comes up causes them to not put the work in for that harvest, right? You got to be able to do the things that are uncomfortable, right? You got to be able to be in the gym when no one's looking, right? If you want to reap the harvest in the future, you can't be making up excuses, right? It's too cold. So I ain't got the money right now, right? You can't make these excuses. And is another reason why I put the meme in the beginning, right? Because them crackheads wake up with nothing and they get what they're out looking for, right? You know what I'm saying? And one thing I'll say, man, never say you're above doing anything, right? Because a lot of times, man, those moments where you think you're above doing something, when you actually do it, it leads to something that's fruitful, and you can go back and tell the story. A lot of times, that's what it takes to reap that harvest, right?
Can I get a precept?
Come
If it ain't, now if you already got it, then don't worry about it. But Proverbs 18 and 9.
I don't think I got that one.
Proverbs 18:9, man, because goes in line with we've been reading this whole time. What does it say? It says, this is Proverbs 18:9. It says, he also that is slothful in his work is his brother to him that is a great waster, right? So if you know somebody, like, just say you got a friend that is irresponsible, waste everything, right? If you slothful in your work, man, y'all will be the best of friends. Both of y'all don't know how to go make it happen and preserve it with wisdom. Like the brother said, the scripture the brother posted, whoso boasts himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. It was just doing that. I want to say, what, Monday, Tuesday? Uh, it was just like outside. I think it was yesterday, actually, Salakia. I think it was yesterday. And it was just like winding real hard and it was clouds, but it wasn't raining, man. I was like, man, where the rain at? You know what I'm saying? Same thing with people who get these false gifts. Like, man, you fake it, right? The same thing if you a slothful man. Like, you can go out here and, like the brother said, make business plans. You know, make it seem like you having motion, but realistically, if you slothful, man, you ain't gonna have no motion. You're gonna be right where that person is that may have a job but is wasteful, right? But so like, yeah.
If you could put up that never mind, I'll put it up. Wanted to read this real quick, man. It says, whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. Right? You know what this is? Right here. This is that friend that knows a little bit about everything, but has nothing to his name. He's so gifted in so many. I know how to do that. I've been doing that for 10 years. I can do that. I can do that. Right. But then,
right before you say that, man, it's a proverb out there in the world. It says, "Jack of all trades," but y'all know that brother's about to say it.
Yeah, it's jack of all trades is a master of none,
but master of none,
master of one.
Right, because the thing about it is, a lot of times, some brothers and some sisters just like claiming that they are good at something or claiming that they know how to do something, and that's that false gift. Now, as somebody that grows crops, right, you might be waiting on that rain because it's been a drought, and then you get teased by them clouds, and you get teased by that wind. When the rain don't come, you feel gypped, and that's what happens when somebody boasts of himself with a false gift, man. So, also when pursuing financial freedom, find out what you're good at and enhance that, right? Find out what you have favor in spiritually and physically and enhance that. But don't try to claim a false gift. Don't try to force yourself into something that you don't even see yourself doing.
And Salakia too, find if you got friends, hey, make sure you prove them to make sure they're credible in the advice that they give you financially, right? When you're on your way to financial freedom, you may went to high school with friends, and now all of a sudden they're these credit fixers. They know how to repair your credit. They do classes and stuff like that. And you got to prove these people when they come to you with ideas about how to change your own life around. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for yourself. So if you sit up here and get scammed, you know what I'm saying, for not being prudent just by somebody who's boasting of a false gift, you know, you got to take 2 L's, because not only are you down bad right now, but now you just got scammed by somebody because you're not having the wisdom to prove these folks, right?
Come on, man.
That's all a part of financial freedom as well. But
come on, man, and all this is just straight wisdom, right? All this is moving with wisdom, right? The brother spoke the other day about discretion, right? Speaking of the precept that the brother Makarov posted, right? Man, every little win that you get on the way to your tree of life on this earth, on the way to your fruitfulness, right? Every little win you get, you ain't got to tell everybody. You ain't got to boast about, right? Because it could lead to nothing, right? You take your small W's, you put them in your pocket, you keep your head down, and you keep moving towards that goal, right? If anything, you celebrate with in-house with you, your wife, your kids, right? Your mom, your dad, somebody, people close to you. But everything that you do doesn't have to be broadcast. Sometimes you got to keep it to yourself, keep your head down, and it'll keep you honest, keep you modest, right, and keep you working hard. So that way, when you get that final thing that you've been wanting, right, it'll make it all the difference, right? You know, um, I want to go to this one precept too. It's going to be Proverbs 19 and 15 because we touched on idleness in a little bit, but I want to jump into it really quick.
Every man said, "Nah, man. We up the street say we go do forex, man. That forex generation was crazy. That time frame where everybody was on that.
Yeah, man. Them pyramid schemes and stuff, man. I fell victim to being in some of them group chats where it's like, man, you send everybody send $7 and then everybody gonna get 100. you know. And it be the people closest to you that be in them schemes and then be telling you, yeah, brother, I got my 700, right? And I'm like, damn, I hang out with this brother every day. He wouldn't lie to me, right? And then showing up the brother lying to me, man. So when it comes to pursuing financial freedom, never take shortcuts, man. Because at the end of the day, you're just gonna shortchange yourself, literally and figuratively, right?
Right.
But if you could read that for me.
Slothfulness casteth into a deep sea,
Sleep.
and an idle soul shall suffer hunger.
Con, man, it says slothfulness casts into a deep sleep. A lot of times, man, when we're and now I'm gonna kind of navigate into entrepreneurship, right? As so-called blacks and Hispanics, man, it's something that's been with us, even our ancestors, right? But it says slothfulness casted into a deep sleep. And I want to bring this out in the aspect of, when you have that hope being deferred, a lot of times, man, you got sleepless nights. A lot of times it forces you to be so stressed out that all you doing is sleeping. And you don't see no motion going on, and you get depressed and down in the dumps, man. You find yourself laying down and not knowing what to do next and stuff like that. And it leads you into a season of idleness. And it says the idle soul shall suffer hunger. One thing you do not want to catch yourself in is a season of idleness, right? Even if you're waiting for a call back, if you're waiting for an approval, if you're waiting for money, if you're waiting for anything, right? Even when you're waiting, you don't want to be idle, right? Um, for instance, if you're waiting for a job to call you back, right? Find something that you're good at and make that your business throughout the day, right? If you got something that you can do on a side gig, start that up while you waiting for that phone call, man. While we over here waiting for Esau to get back to us, right? We could be doing something that might hit, while you waiting for that call back. And then when you finally get that call back, you go ahead and let them know, yeah, man, I don't think I'll be taking that job. I got something good going for me right now, right? But it all comes from not being idle. Stop waiting for somebody to give you something, right? And sometimes you got to go out there and get it on your own, right? But it comes from what? Hard work. Just like that crackhead, just like the in nature, just like that lion, that cheetah. You got to wake up every morning, man, and you got to put your hands to the plow. Carnally too, right? You want something, you got to go get it. That means always thinking of something that you can accomplish the next day and the next day. That's always going to be pushing towards your goal, right? Do not be idle.
Hey, real quick, that's just like in Sirach. We're gonna be in this chapter a little bit later too. But when it says, I think it's 33 and 27, when it says like send him to labor that be idle, for idleness teacheth much evil, right? Sometimes, man, brothers get to a point where they just stop. It's a folly quote, like the brother said. On a physical level, this is what we want to speak about. But it's a folly quote. But I mean, it makes sense. Slow motion is always better than no motion, right? So if don't take what brother Donald is bringing forth and say, oh well, he's telling me pretty much if I'm trying to be an entrepreneur that I'm being lazy. Nah, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying the opposite.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying is that sometimes when you doing these things, you're trying to start a business or you in between jobs and you trying to find your way. A lot of times there are people who just ultimately just stop and they don't want to do anything. They wake up every day like and just go back to sleep and days go by. They're not trying to obtain any success. Sometimes when you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you are doing things, but however, things may move along a bit slower. So, like the brother's saying, do not be idle at all, because once you begin to stop anything just because you gotta go over a few humps and a few speed bumps, now you begin to think about, well, shoot, let me try scamming. Maybe I could go rob a bank because you've been watching too much Takers, right?
Right, man. A lot of Netflix will get you, a lot of y'all in trouble, man. All these heist movies and bank robbery movies, man. It be giving y'all some ideas, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss the integrity and don't miss the diligence and actually working hard, right?
Con. I want to say one more thing real quick. BMF, I think, aired back on the night. Black Mafia Family. A lot of people watch these stars with Power Book Ghost and Forrest and Raising Canyon, and they see how you can get money in the drug game, and they try to resort to that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for everybody, and remember, that's just TV.
Right, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of slanging dope, man, why don't you go slang you some paint, right? Why don't you go slang slang you some water? You know what I'm saying? There's elements that the Most High has given us to make stuff out of. Just go slang you some lumber, right? You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say wood, but I ain't feel like nobody putting pause in the chat, right? Go slang you some lumber, man, right? You know what I'm saying? But and the brother said go to Luke 9:62. We're gonna go there next, right? Yarn song for the ladies, man. Go slang you some yarn, right? We're not gonna go there next, but after my next preset, real quick, because I want to jump into this real quick. Proverbs 12:24, right? Go slang you some yarn, ladies, right?
Hey, shout out to the sister Kayla, man. She get the five finger discounts for the yarn at Hobby Lobby, bro.
I don't know about 5 finger discounts because we got some receipts.
Y'all watching this, man? I know somebody that get me 5 finger discount.
Go ahead and click that real quick. Proverbs 12:24, right? Go ahead. Can you read that for me, somebody?
The Proverbs 12:24. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute.
Right, man. I brought up an example of somebody waiting for a call back, right? And days going by, sleepless nights, instead of getting to it, right? You know what I'm saying? You can go back to the preset real quick.
Yeah.
Right? And what it looks like is this, right? The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under true. A lot of times, it's slothful for us to be working for the man, right? Because it's the easy way out, the 9 to 5, right? But again, man, like that example, man, right? The example of you waiting for a call back and you just not doing nothing, man. You just waiting, right? You can be going out and you can go pick a trade. You can go, pick a side gig to start up. You know what I'm saying? That way, right? You can bear rule of your own financial freedom. And you don't have to be under tribute to somebody waiting for a check. You can go get your check, right? Again, like the cheetah, like the lion, you go get your meal. Like the crackhead is gonna go get that fix, right? You know what I'm saying? You can bear rule to your own financial freedom, right? But you have to be diligent. What does it mean to be diligent? You gotta go out and get it. You gotta put your hands to work, right? And be diligent in work, man. Right? After you get the definition for tribute, I want to get the definition for diligent too.
All right. Tribute. Something given or contributed voluntarily as due or deserved, especially a gift or service showing respect, gratitude, affection, of floral Slovakia. I want to instead look at tributary, right? Because if you're under tribute, that means you're a tributary, right? It says A person or state that pays tribute to another state or ruler.
Right, man. Meaning they getting some of your tax money, bruh. You know what I'm saying? They get a write off on you for working for them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait on them hand and foot, right? They tell you when to eat your lunch. They tell you when you can take your break, right? All these things, man, you gotta pay your respects to them. And versus being diligent. If you look up diligence next to, right? Versus being diligent and bearing rule of your own financial freedom, right?
I'm trying to get up forms of tribute. Um, let's see, homage, paying respect or paying homage, commendation, right? Giving a permit or a license to, citation, award, accolade, hymn, eulogy, right? But if you look at some of these words like commendation, right, being that of a license or a permit, right? When we went into the land of Canaan, right, by the hands of Joshua and Caleb, right, we were supposed to exterminate everybody from those lands. But what does it look like when you don't do the will of the Most High God? You don't do that. And what happens is the people that stayed, they became tributaries, meaning we gave them license to stay in that land as long as they would not make any trouble with us, right? As long as they would obey us and things of that nature. So, like the brother said, in the job force, a lot of us, we hate our boss. A lot of us, we hate our manager. We hate our CEOs. We hate the people that make all the decisions or bear rule. But it is our fault that we have become worker bees because we weren't as diligent as those people. Now, we know that certain things in life are handed to some people, passed down to some people, and those people, when they bear rule, they're wicked, and they don't have any judgment for the people under them, right? Righteous judgment for the people under them. They just kind of rule wickedly, but nonetheless, right? Somebody in their family, forefather, foremother, was diligent enough to get them that job, right? And so the thing about it is, you got to be diligent if you want to call the shots,
Go
right?
ahead and get the definition for me.
Con, even spiritually, right? Right now, you want to rule in the kingdom, you gotta be diligent now, right? You gotta be diligent now if you want to rule in the kingdom.
Come on, man. The brother Welded says exactly. These folks literally told me today I took my break too soon. Right, that's what it looks like, man. When you're working for somebody, right? Uh, I worked with an older brother, man, and he told me he worked for a job one time that didn't even let him go to the bathroom. They said you go to the bathroom on your own time, not on mine, right? And the brother just said he had to pee, right? Hey, talk on your own time. This is my time right now, right? They kind of giving you the Damian Lillard, right? Pointing at their wrist. You know what I'm saying? That happens, man. Hey, man, y'all do that on your own time, man. Do that when you go home. Right now, I need you working, right? Oh, they want you to be diligent for them, huh? The brother Makarov said this. He said 12-hour shift with 30 minutes late. Be for real,
30
right?
minutes lunch break.
30 minutes lunch break.
Come. You know what I'm saying? 30-minute lunch break, man. All you got is 30 minutes, right? Really don't even got that because it's gonna take about 5 minutes to warm up your stuff and get situated. About before you know it, you're not 8, and you probably got about 3 minutes left, right? Now you got to run to the bathroom because you got to pee before your shift before you got to be back on the clock, right?
Man,
And
Salakia, I was working a job and it was that. So everybody would use the take a bathroom break either before or after the lunch break, right? And the lunch break, like the brother said, we were working 10-hour shifts, 30-minute lunch break. And you know what the people that bear rule had the nerve to call a meeting about? Hey, no more bathroom breaks during lunch.
that's crazy.
A lot of y'all just using that for extra time during lunch, and we see it. No more bathroom breaks during lunch. Either you're in the cafeteria eating or you're back here.
That's
And
crazy, man. That's
you know,
crazy, man. if you could go back to that, go back to the precept before we read the definition, right? It says the hands of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute, man. And a lot of times, man, speaking of entrepreneurship, sometimes it takes that extra diligence, um, you know, to be in charge of your own self, to be in charge of your own financial freedom, right? And a lot of us, we're cool with being under tribute. Nowadays, especially for brothers in this truth, man, as I look around, it sounds like a lot of us, are not willing to be tributaries anymore, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's really not, right? If you could read that definition really quick.
Diligent, having, stuck you, having or showing care and conscient
Consider
consciousness,
consciousness,
oh, consciousness in one's work or duties.
right, man. I like that, right? Some of the similar synonyms are industrious, hardworking, assiduous, uh, consciousness, particular. I like that word consciousness, man, because you dang near have to be paranoid, right? When it comes to being good at diligence, right? It's always got to be on your mind. Now we understand you gotta, it shouldn't be on your mind more than the most high. That's true,
Salakia is
right?
not consciousness, it's consensuousness and consensuous.
Con, con. Either way,
I
right?
didn't even know, so I just held my peace, bro.
Consensuousness, right? But nonetheless, man, it doesn't take away from the fact that you pretty much got to be paranoid when it comes to diligence, right? You when it comes to being a perfectionist, right?
Right.
These
Also,
things. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of people when it comes to girls, they'll make fun of pick me's, but all a pick me is a woman that is being diligent to get what she wants. Right. Also, a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters on their job will say they're just a kiss up. They're just, you know, they're just all up so and so's butt trying to look good. Hey, look, they being diligent. And then one day when they become a manager over you or a director and they're making a salary and you getting hourly, you can't be mad because what you were making fun of them for doing was actually them being diligent,
God,
right?
man, you got diligence comes with a sense of paranoia, man, to where you're never satisfied, right? You can never be too sure. You can never put too much work in. That's where diligence comes in. There's a precept. I'm just gonna paraphrase it. It says, the good shepherd is diligent in his livestock, right? He knows where they at all times. He keeps all of them fed, right? Have you ever seen a real cowboy, a real shepherd, man? They're constantly counting them sheep, making sure that I ain't got one. It's 99, missing one, right? You got to wake up every morning to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're taking care of animals, man, those are diligent tasks you have to do, right? To keep them fed, clean, cook, exercise, right? You have to have some level of diligence if you want to bear rule of your own financial freedom, man, right? If not, if you're just cool with the 9 to 5 and being a tributary, that's cool. Have a sense of integrity when you go to work, this, that, and the third, right? But don't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? And if you are complaining about it, there's nothing wrong with complaining as being a tributary, but do something about it. And doing something about it comes with that diligence, right? Um, let's see here. And Con, man, and a point I also wanted to bring out was this, man. As Israelites, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, this is something that we've been a part of since the beginning of time. We've always been diligent in our own works, right? We was our own carpenters, right? When you look at Paul, he was a tent maker, right? It didn't matter where he was, he knew how to make a tent. He could make that pop for him if he needed to, right? We've always been about cattle, right? When you read certain stories, man, how especially a Proverbs 31 woman, man, how she works with her hands, she goes out into the market, she sells her own merchandise, right? And she brings it back for provision for her family. It's in our blood, right? We can, as blacks and Hispanics, we always made a way out of no way, right? And it's time, kind of to get back to that, right? It's within us. Sometimes I think America has has dumbed us down, right, and made us slothful, right, and to a point where we can't tap into the hard work that we used to. We were known for hard work, man, right? That's the reason why we were slaves in every captivity and to all nations, because we was known for our hard work and we did it good, right?
Like,
Mexicans are good at hard working, bro. Right? That's what Mexicans are known for, right? And that's one thing that they got good for themselves is that, just like that crackhead, them Mexicans, they gonna get what they need, right? They're gonna wake up and they gonna find a way. They're gonna go get it. They're very inventive, man. You might not be able to speak too much English, but I guarantee you they come to America and they find a way. You know what I'm saying?
Slovakia too. When you think about the world, and if you think about America's system, they they built themselves off of empires that had tributaries or citizens, right? When you look at Rome, Rome had taxes, and Rome had a coin and a form of money, right? To pay to the empire. When you look at Egypt, it was the same way, right? And that's how they build this place up. But if you look at a lot of these Eastern countries today, right, and a lot of places over the world, they don't operate like such. What do I mean by that? You go over there to Africa, you go over there to some places in Asia, right, and expect to be an entrepreneur. Well, I'm just going to do this when I get over there. No, everybody's doing this, right? Everybody is an entrepreneur over there. That's why when you go to the marketplaces, right, everybody's an entrepreneur. That's how they get it out the mud over there. It's not no going to the grocery store and I'm looking at this worker and this worker's asking me, how am I doing today? Do I need to help find something on a certain aisle, right? Everybody out there has something to give, right? And they make it work for their family. And that's what we've lost touch of is um, is the grind of providing for your family in that aspect, right? Because all we're no, especially our people, we're used to being warehouse workers. We're used to being retail workers. We're used to doing all those things that leave us in a sleep state. The brother Denal posted on his story not too long ago some wisdom from a father to a son, knowing that these jobs are paying you just enough to where you can cancel your dreams, or just enough for you to make you sleep on your dreams. Think about it. If they paid you too much, right, you'll be able to save and quit that job so they don't pay you too much. If they paid you too less, you might quit the job and say, you know what, I'm doing something on my own. This ain't cutting it, right? But they pay you just amount to where you might have the idea, but you'll never step away because this slow, steady, constant income is coming in. And that's that state that America has put our people in. And we never know, oh, I need to get it. Oh, I need to grind. Oh, I can make this much for myself and my
And just
family.
like the scripture says, man, we don't like to admit it, man, but when you in all actuality, that is us being slothful, right? A lot of us don't like to think that, but a lot of times that is us being slothful, being complacent, right? Being a tributary. And the thing is, man, I've seen too many guys fall victim to being a tributary because one thing about it, you have no control, right? The moment they decide they don't need you anymore, it could be for whatever reason, they'll let you go, right? I know too many Israelites right now that do not that have been let go, fired, or laid off, right? You know, I know a couple. Both of them was working for the same a mom, a dad, husband and wife, right? They were working for the same company. Both of them got laid off, right? And that just happens with you can have all the integrity that you want, but when you are a tributary, man, you do fall victim to whether if they feel like they need you or not, right?
Con, I wanted to point this out real quick. Look, this is just Nigeria. You go over there thinking you're going to be an entrepreneur, think you're going to work for somebody. It's not happening. Look at all these people. All of these are entrepreneurs, even down to the taxi drivers, right? All of these tents, all of these people, right, got something going for themselves and their family. And you think you're gonna be able to get in where it fit in? Nah, they know the grind. That's why when they end up coming over to the States, they do so well because they're used to the grind.
They
The,
feel like they ain't got no competition.
right, the
But what?
Mexicans come over, they used to the grind.
They used to the grind. That's why they have successful restaurants and successful carpentry businesses and painting business and all that stuff, right? Because man, if you coming from something like this, you come over to America, man, you literally feel like there's no competition, man. They're probably chilling, right? That's why they having such a good time all the time. They always got smiles on their face, right? Because you know what I'm saying, from where they're coming from, everybody had that diligent mindset to where you come over to America, man, and most people are complacent with just being slothful and
Hey,
being tributaries.
Salakia, my bad. But part of that too is understanding the time that we living in, man. They trying to raise the retirement age to I think 72. So instead of you being able to get that 401k and that pension money when you hit the early 60s, now they trying to push it back to 70s. But the life expectancy in America for men, I think, is only 73 years old, 72, 73 years old.
Highway robbery, man.
So, just with that understanding right there, it should coerce our people to, if you a tributary, that's great. And like the brother said, do it and do it well to the best of your abilities, not necessarily to be like, you know what I'm saying, like be cooned out and try to, make somebody else's dream come true, but for the sake of giving yourself a good name, because no matter about how you feel about your job, if you have one, doing your job, doing it right and doing it well and leaving a good name for yourself would only work in your favor, when you do decide to start a business, and I'm not just speaking about getting in good with that business. I'm just saying maybe there's employees there that may know somebody that may know somebody. And when you start a business, they hear your business. Now they putting them on. They're like, yeah, this guy, you can trust him. He's good. I worked with him at so-and-so. Or, yeah, this guy worked for me at so-and-so, so-and-so. He did a great job. He was always, and we know you're going to complain. We know that you're going to have your say-sos and your moments where you feel like I shouldn't be here. That may be every day for some people. But at the end of the day, man, the only thing that you can do sometimes is do what you have to do. And that's how that is. That's all I got to say on that.
Hey, whenever I feel like I'm being a worker bee or if I feel like I'm being oppressed, the one thing I think about is integrity, man. And I dwell on integrity and think when I make it to the kingdom and we do have nursing mothers and we do have servants and handmaids and things of that nature, I don't want them to slack off on their job. I don't want them to be able to point out, well, when you were under our oppression, you did this. You got away with this. You cut this corner. No, I want to be able to say, hey, when I was under you guys, I did everything by the book. So it ain't no excuses for you not to keep the Passover to a T, tabernacles to a T. It ain't no excuse for you not to prepare that sacrifice to a T. It ain't no excuse for you not to till this land to the T because I kept my integrity. So it's time for you to keep your integrity. So a lot of us, we always, even in our state of oppression, right? A lot of us in the truth, we'll look for ways that we can buck the system, but we're not going to want these other nations to buck the system in the kingdom, right? So keep your integrity, man, even if you feel like you a slave.
Come on, man, because what you don't realize is, man, we had blessings and curses set apart before us, and as happenstance had it, we got the curses put on us, man. So the integrity is paying what you owe, right? Doing your time. This is not time placed on us by Esau in the grand scheme of things. This is time placed on us by the Most High. And you cutting corners is trying to cut corners from your punishment that the Most High has put on you, right? Not saying that he did this to destroy you, right? But to have that integrity, like our brothers, man. We had brothers in the first Babylonian captivity that tried to get out of it. That thought that there's no way God's gonna put us in here. They tried to buck the system, right? And we see that grace and mercy was extended to those that threw their hands up and be like, hey, Father, we take this on cheerfully, and we're gonna be the best slaves that we can. Not to sound cooned out, right? Don't get what I'm saying to be sound cooned out. But what I'm saying is, man, when you're in your land of captivities, man, you have integrity, you have diligence about you, and that will bring about grace and mercy, right? Because again, this punishment that's been put on us is not from our carnal enemy. It's from the Most High, right? And all He wants to do is see that you're taking it on cheerfully and you're taking on the mistakes of our ancestors, right? So we can finally get past it and reap the benefits of it in the end, right? Um, could you go ahead and read that for me? Luke 9:62.
This is Luke 9:62 when it reads, "And Jesus said unto him, No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God."
Con, man, right? And the brother wanted to pull that, brother Macro wanted to pull that. And this goes hand in hand in duality, spiritually and carnally, man. Right? You put your hand to that plow, and you look back, right? You're not gonna reap what you need, right? If you decide that you want to put your hand to the plow to get a better job, right? The moment you take that hand off the plow, you're not fit for getting that reward. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing in duality, right? Got a couple more precepts here. It'll be really quick. Give me Proverbs 26 and 13.
Con, a quick point too. When you made a point about you know uh, being a good steward, because hey, in the kingdom you don't want nobody slacking out. Just when you become an entrepreneur, I think about sometimes like starting up a business, man, and I think about the times where as an employee maybe I did slack off, maybe I did cut corners. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I ain't want to be here, or I felt like, man, this job, man, they don't deserve my best because they only be paying me a certain amount. I'm not gonna say I apologize for all the times that I maybe had that mindset, but I will say that in order moving forward, you definitely have to change the way you think and approach somebody else's business. Because again, when you have your own, even in this life, we're not just talking about the kingdom, but when you start your own business, one day you may be the HNIC, and you're gonna start realizing that there's gonna be parts of your business that's slacking off more than others. So then you got to come with a corrective action plan to come and find out, okay, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna find employees feeling the same way maybe you felt when you was an employee. Oh, I don't get paid enough. Oh, I this. Oh, I that. And when you start checking the numbers and you show them the numbers, you realize that, hey, I can't pay you as much as, you know what I'm saying, because I gotta pay this and I gotta pay that. It's a lot of legalities and hourly wages and stuff like that. We all want to be paid more, but never forget, you know what I'm saying, the legal side of things, the business side of things. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always personal, but just keep that in mind when you start your own business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's again, man. This Bible, man, is in duality in every realm, right? When you think about how the world calls it karma, right? You reap what you sow. Whatever you put in, is what you're gonna get out, right? You put into into the realm slothfulness, lazy, and lack of integrity. Best believe when it's time for you to reap, man, that's what you're gonna get to. You're gonna be looking at like, why can I get no good workers, right? It's because you was a bad worker. You know what I'm saying? Same thing goes around, comes around. They know slackness of the first or speediness of the end, right? If a brother could read this for me real quick.
Proverbs 26 and 13, it says, "The slothful man said, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets."
God, man, that slothful man always has an excuse, right? Always has a fear. You never moving because of fear. I might not. I can't. I probably can't do that, right? And now I'm talking to the people that have a low self esteem, right? But you're longing for something, right? Sometimes it's time to break out of that. You know what I'm saying? As blacks and Hispanics, we don't like going to therapy. I get that, right? But also, you got to understand, man, if you're afraid to go to therapy, man, if you're afraid to go to therapy, I don't want to hear no excuses about you having no low self-esteem, right? Because there's man, you shouldn't be afraid to do anything, right? If you want something, go for it. talking about there's a lion in the way. A lot of us complain about our bosses. A lot of us complain about, like the brother said, the legality of business going. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if there's so many contracts and so many things I gotta read, and I gotta go to the office and get this notarized and this, that, and the third, right? There's always a problem, an issue in the way, and it always sets you back every single time, right? We can't be that way, right? That characteristic is equal to a slothful man. A lion is in the streets, right? Sometimes there's a lion in the way, right? And sometimes you got to go straight through them. Sometimes we don't even get to the lion, right? We see a lion being in the future, and that prevents us, right?
That's brothers looking at the job description, and just because
Exactly.
they throw out one or two things in the job description that you're not familiar with, that line stops you or defers you from applying.
Exactly.
And matter of fact, we was talking to the elder, and we was going over some of the stuff, some of the traits or some of the trades that he knew, and the brother knew enough trades to get him a job. And he just said to us, that's one of those things where you kind of just freak yourself out, and you just kind of just put it on the shelf. But you can't freak yourself out, man, just because there's a lion, right?
Just because it's because the oppressor used big fancy words that you don't know about, right? And you thinking, I ain't no technician, not knowing that a technician is just somebody that does something, right? You can be doing anything, right? It's nothing fancy, right? You can't be afraid to get off the porch and do these things, man, right? Could you give me Proverbs 14 and 23 really quick?
Yes.
Right.
That hip hop and rap, famous quote. That's in any song. You might hear a lot of this in trap song. I jumped out the porch. I was 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about how they jumped out the porch, man.
Hey man,
And
diligence.
that lion might just be like the
Yeah,
brother said, verbiage. A lot of jobs be put in titles and stuff just to try to see who's gonna be brave enough, right? They
right.
might use associate, they might use technician, they might use specialist, right? And each of those three words, they could all mean the same thing, but one of those words is gonna scare somebody. Oh, I'm not an associate. I don't know. I don't really I don't specify in that. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a technician. But really, it's just a lion in the way,
Come on,
right?
man. If you could read this real quick.
Proverbs 14 and 23. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury.
Right. Penury is simply put as leads to nothing, right? Is unfruitfulness, right? And it says in all labor there is profit, right? So when you put your hand to the plow, when you're diligent, it always leads to something, right? Sometimes we're afraid that if we do something, it's going to lead to nothing. But like I said, man, when that cheetah wakes up every morning and he travels miles until he sees that gazelle, it always leads to something, right? That's a principle that's fixed by the Most High, right? When you put in the work for something, it says Galatians 6:9, it says, grow not weary in well doing, for you shall reap if you faint not, right? The Most High has made a principle that's fixed that if you put in the work, whatever you reap, you're going to sow, you're going to get out. So stop being afraid to put in that work, because it's always going to lead to some type of profit, whether that be financial, whether that be physically, bodily, right? Whether that be mentally, right? Where you overcome something that you didn't know, or you gain knowledge, right? That labor will always lead to some type of profit, right? But if you're just talking about it, it's gonna lead to nothing, man. We all got good ideas. We all got inventions that we done talk about with our friends, and man, and nifty things and witty things that we can come up with, right? Business adventures, things that we can do, right? We all got those, but if we just talk about it, it's gonna lead to nothing, right? We got to put stuff into action, right?
And
And little by little.
you gotta also know too, uh, that word profit, right? A lot of us, we just want to make financial profits. But if you watch any documentary, if you watch any interview, if you watch any podcast, right, of of people that are successful financially, they understand that profit is not just money. And they'll tell you, when I started, I had to do so many X, Y, and Z jobs for free. When I started, I had to, I asked if I can volunteer to do this just so I can learn this. Then you know what? So the definition of profit is a financial gain. Well, that's beside the point. A financial gain, especially the difference between the amount earned and the amount spent in buying, operating, or producing something, right? But I'm here to let you know it's not just a financial gain, it's just a gain in general, right?
Right.
Hey, brother said, dang, shared it right when I was going to click on it. It said, wicked people work hard for their folly and success at it. You know what I'm saying? We have the same ability in righteousness. Deer Hunt, I work hard preseason and excel because I work for it. Con. Hey, man, you got to be willing to work with your hands. Like we read last night, a virtuous woman is willing to work with her hands, pull her britches up and get dirty. She don't care about the snow. She's going to make sure her house is clothed in scarlet. She gets up early in the morning when it's dark and make sure her house has meat to eat. The same thing with men, you know what I'm saying? And anyone trying to be an entrepreneur or start a business or do anything in life, you have to work hard for things that you want in some moments. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother said, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. Because he goes out every deer season, because he know deer season is upon us, he's prepping throughout the year. He's training, he's learning spots. He may be, thinking about different ways to be stealth. There's a bunch of different things you can do, but he's preparing for that season. So when it comes, when he go out and he get $5, $6, $7, you know what I'm saying? It's not by coincidence. It's because he worked for it.
That's that diligence, man. Right. And when you think about it, a lot of people out there want to start hunting, right? They want to deer hunt. You know what I'm saying? Duck hunting is big now. They want to go get them a duck. You know what I'm saying? They want to go do these things and they talk about it, but like the scripture says, it leads to nothing. But somebody that labors, like the brother has that diligence to actually go out there, get his hands dirty, see where the deer at, work on his shot, right? That way when he gets the opportunity, he can capitalize on it. When you actually get out there and do it, right, that will lead to some type of profit, whether that is the actual harvest, the animal itself, or just gaining the knowledge and the experience of being out there, knowing what to look at, right? Because a lot of people out here, man, they get on Instagram and they're slothful with it, right? To the point where they don't want to do the dirty work. You know what they do, right? They'll rather pay $400, $500, $600 for somebody that did the diligence, right? To find the work, to find where the animals are, to show you how to properly do X, Y, and Z. They'll pay that $400, $500 for somebody to go out and take them on a hunt. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the brother might be able to do that, man. There's people will pay big money for you to show them where the deer at and show them and tell them when to pull the trigger, right? It's called touring or being a tour guide, a hunt tour guide or something like that. Look into it, brother.
It's called being a hunt guide.
Hunt
But check this out though. That's like in every occupation. We live in the information age to where literally, if you want to change your oil, you can do that. Literally, if you want to replace your dishwasher, you can do that. If you want to replace your AC unit, you can do that because all you got to do is go to Google and YouTube, right? But check this out. I'll give an example. My lawnmower that I had got from a friend, right, stopped working on me, and I didn't know why. Now I could have took it to a lawnmower repair shop, and I looked up the price, labor, and pricing of the cost of what it might be, right? I would have been out of $300. I think it was like $348, right? I went on YouTube. I fixed the problem myself in a matter of 2 hours, right? And guess what? It was free. I didn't need to buy nothing. So that's when what it's talking about when it says labor, there is profit, because you put the own labor in yourself instead of paying somebody to do it. There's no profit in paying somebody, but there's profit in you doing it. Because guess what? If I really wanted to, if I was really down bad, I could start my own lawnmower repair company. Because I can say I had experience repairing lawnmowers. Something that was $348, I know how to do it. I can make that $348. And if five people have the same problem that I know how to fix, I can make 5 times 348, right? Because labor, there is profit.
Come on, man. Mighty point. Brother Shaw, you want to pull out your precepts still?
Yeah, go to Ecclesiastes 33. Look at that right there, 33 real quick. Because you know what I'm saying? I wanted to go in this. You can back out of that real quick. Go to the Y version so we can kind of see the, yeah. Start at verse 19 though. Verse 19, right? Let me go down to let me just read this, right? Because I guess I'm shying away from it, but this is an important part because it's at the precedence for what it's talking about. Verse 19, Ecclesiastes 33 and 19, it says, "Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again." Right? So this is basically just speaking on, how to get financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? How to gain financial independence in a sense. And all of these things is saying, you saying something?
No, I was saying Khan.
Oh yeah, Khan. All of these things are just saying, don't give these people power over you, because if you give your goods to somebody else, hey, they're gonna spin the block. Let me get it again. You know what I'm saying? Verse 20, it says, "As long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any." Right? And this is solely speaking on, how to get that financial independence, how to be financially sound. Don't give yourself over to any, right? If you a guy who works hard, but you got a friend that, you may be, again, one of those slothful guys, or one of those guys who's down bad all the time, and every time he down bad, he reaching out to you. Hey, can't always, I got you, bro. What you need? How much you need? People, the world will make it seem like, oh, that's a real so-and-so, he real, because every time I asked, he gave it. The world will make it seem like, hey, that's what you're supposed to do every time you got a homeboy that's down bad. You're supposed to give him what he needs. You may have mixed feelings about, what the scriptures say, because you're not supposed to be sitting up here, somebody that's constantly asking you for money, and you just giving it to them every time they ask. Not even worried about what they spending it on, not even trying to help them establish a plan to get them in a position to not have to ask again. You just a piggy bank for them, right? And that's pretty much you giving them power over you, because every time they ask, you answer. And that's not the way it's supposed to be.
You giving them license to sin. You giving them license to be idle and to be a beggar, right? And to be worse than an infidel. I was thinking that while I was driving today. Actually, that's the spirit, because I was thinking, you know what? What if the Most High doesn't make somebody financially free? In my mind at the time, I was saying, what if the Most High doesn't make somebody rich, because he knows that he's going to end up giving all his things away. He knows that he's going to end up giving all his money away, right? Because, you can be very charitable. You can be very kind, and you can be very meek, but that also can lead to you being green. And the Most High don't want you to be green. So if he knows you're going to be green with your money, just like if he knows you're going to be selfish with your money, he can stop that money from coming to you, right? So you need to know all aspects of these things so that God can bless you in your time of need, or in your time of financial freedom. Because when we look at all of our wealthy brothers and sisters, they had wisdom. Solomon had wisdom. Abraham had wisdom. And these people had money and land. Jacob had wisdom, right? When you look at Jacob's path that he took, the lands that he chose to settle in, the lands that he bought, right? The fields that he bought and things of that nature. These brothers had wisdom, and they were not being played, right? So,
and on the other end of it, man, right? You don't want to be found on the other spectrum, right? You don't want your son, your wife, your brother, your friend to have any type of power over you, to where you always got to be depending on them to bail you out, right? Not just you bailing them out, but you don't want to be that guy. Like, read verse 21 real quick.
That's what we was trying to go to.
Okay.
It says, "For better is it that thy children should seek to thee, than that thou shouldest stand to their courtesy."
I know people right now, man, that be leeching off of their kids, man, leeching off, man. Hey, look, sometimes we find ourselves in a predicament where we do need help, right? It says two is better than one. We understand there's a perfect balance of these things, right? But at the end of the day, as a man, we shouldn't have give nobody. And you got some good friends, you got some good sons and brothers and wives that'll do it, and won't think nothing of it, won't hold it over you or anything like that. But you don't even want to give somebody the time of day, right? To have any type of power over you, like you owe them, right? Or they're your boss now, right? Because you're asking for favors and stuff like that, right? It's all a part, like the brother was bringing this out for financial freedom, being financial free, right? It's better for your children to come to ask you for some money for you to, other than you going to your kids and asking them for money, right? It's better for you to use your kids asking for you to co-sign something and have put your name on it than you having to go to your kids asking, hey man, I'm gonna have to put this in your name, right? Which a lot of us fall victim to in our communities, right?
Yeah,
You buying that TV with Lil Ray Ray's name.
Your credit shot because of all the poor decisions you made. Now you starting afresh through your seed.
Right.
Oh
got
my God.
perfect credit, bro. Now you working with that perfect credit. You got a second chance in life. You got a second chance in life, bro.
Hey,
then you go have more kids.
hey, look, and it's crazy because I have a friend who was in that same situation. Him and his pops got the same name. Brother tried to get a spot, came back, some stuff was showing up, and it was a situation, man. And I'm telling you, man, you can.
Hey, bro, we can't make this up, man.
Hey, I don't even want to ask what age he was.
Hey, look, that's not I being evil towards your brother and your children, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we got to get, he said, as a jit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the curses in itself.
Hey, Salakia, too. I had a friend in college, man. I'm not going to put no names out there. I had a friend in college. He had his car repoed because it was in his dad's name and his dad's credit was bad. His dad didn't tell him that he stopped paying the car note. The brother went outside to go to class and his car wasn't there no more. And then since his dad's credit was so bad, his dad had to get a new car for himself, not for him, but for himself. And guess whose name he put it in? He put it in his son's name. So it's like, man, we have to set ourselves up for our kids, man, and our children, so that we're not put in that predicament. Like at camp, the older gentleman that we was talking to, right? What did he say? What did he tell us? Even though I'm down bad, I got two sons, man. They have great lives, great jobs, man. They got their own money. I don't even. And they may be mad that I don't talk to them about it and say, Dad, why you ain't tell me? But man, that's their money, man. I ain't even finna put my hand in their pot. That's commendable, right? That's commendable for you not to. And that goes with everything in life. You should not want to be somebody's burden, right? You shouldn't want your wife to feel a burden, and you telling her too much information, and now she's stressing out over stuff that you could have kept inside as a man, right? You don't want your kids to feel like. He also told us this about his daughter, right? What did he say about his daughter? He said, all I know is my daughter hungry. All I know is when my daughter wants some shoes, she get them. She don't know how she get them, but she get them. She needs something.
One thing I gotta say about the elder is this, man. He spent a lot of time complaining about he just want a job and he just want a schedule, right? When all in all, man, the brother's smart. He could be working on this whole time where he been diligent in trying to get a job, right? He could have been diligent in creating a job, right? And you never know, man. By now, you could have seen some profit, right? And that's all we're saying, man. Is take the time to be diligent, and set yourself apart and go for things for your own self, right? Let's stop settling. Let's be our own owner operators, our own entrepreneurs, right? But it takes diligence and it takes hard work, right? If you give me Romans 8 and I think 28, right? And I'll end on this precept if brothers ain't having nothing else.
God, I wanted to finish that, but it's cool.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you was finished. My bad.
Good, brother. It's all good. Go ahead, man. We didn't already touch on it, man. It's all good.
My bad, Salaki. I thought you was done, King.
Hey, bro said, hey, we done with this. Go ahead, move forward.
I thought you was done.
Nah, you all right, man. I just like you.
Romans 8 and what?
28.
Con, mighty precept, do well to unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Con.
Come on, man.
Hold
You go
on.
ahead and click.
What
You go
precept
ahead.
is that?
It's Ecclesiasticus 12 and 5.
I'm saying they just read.
Ecclesiasticus 12 and 5.
I want to put that up real quick before you go into that. Do well unto them that do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Right? A lot of brothers. We had a kind of a might have a falling out sometimes of giving to the godly and not the ungodly. People might think that's not charity, that's not alms. Let God do that deciphering. When we look at our forefathers and our foremothers, when they gave charity, man, they gave to the people that knew the Lord, right? And that's just the thing about this word and this truth is judgment has to be righteous, whether that's like the brother Ned said, judging the poor or judging the rich, right? I can't just give to a brother that's not godly because he might do something ungodly with that I give him, right? So
and it's like you doing it,
right. So and it says also, and there's plenty of precepts that say, "Give unto your brethren," right? If I see why would I give to somebody of another nation before I give to my brethren, right?
Yeah.
That's like if I see that my actual son in my house is starving, and I go across the street and give it to the person across the street and say, well, God said, love thy neighbor as thyself. No, my son need to eat.
Yeah, you got to take care of home first, right? And likewise, like the brother brought out, ungodly. A lot of times, man, people don't realize that being a sluggard and being slothful is ungodly, right? So if you know you giving something to somebody that's slothful and sluggard like, I think the scriptures call it niggardly, right? You know what I'm saying? If you give to that type of person, that's an ungodly person in itself, right? You know, you giving to somebody and you're enabling them to do nothing. Sometimes, and we talk about this all the time, man, especially when we used to work, right? When we used to all work together, right? We talk about all the time. Sometimes you got to let people fall on their face so they can get right. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of manhood, especially, being in blue collar and stuff like that. Sometimes people learn the that's one good thing about blue collar, right? That I like is that as young people, it happened to me, even when I was a painter at Savannah Riverside, as young people, man, you find out quick in blue collar, right? They let you fall on your face quick so you can learn those lessons. You can be a better man, man. A lot of stuff that I do now, as far as like me even saving or me going down to the work truck that I chose, right? I learned and I soaked all that stuff up from being around wise blue collar workers. You know what I'm saying?
Con. Real quick before you read this too, that's just like that song that The Rock, Messiah's coming, and he said, no, I gotta give and make profit. Should I make profit from it knowing it ain't about the money? You know what I'm saying? But in the system, if I got it, I can't do nothing for you. And I gotta give it hard. You know what I'm saying?
So
That's pretty much like, yeah, that song is called Messiah's Coming. It's on the Seven Trumpets album if y'all want to check it out. But yeah, it's pretty much saying, man, in this life, I can't help you if I can't help myself. And I was just retaliating to when the brother said, it starts at home first. You got to take care of home first. Set thine house in order first. I know we got a lot of brothers and sisters who got a story and you want to help them out, but if you ain't got you right, if you ain't got your family right, you know what I'm saying? You can't help nobody else get right. It all starts internally, right?
Since you said that, and we'll move on because I know the brother wants to wrap this up. But just because you said that, it reminds me of Abraham. A lot of people think Abraham was this man that was in the desert. Abraham was rich and wealthy, man. Abraham had servants. Abraham had cattlemen. Abraham had soldiers, right? When his nephew got stolen or somebody laid war against his nephew, guess what happened? He had an army gathered together, trained them, and then went and got, how much money that might take back then? How much wealth that might have took back then? But guess what? He couldn't help his own unless he was financially free. Unless God was able, God used wealthy men in the Bible. Don't let them fool you. Right. So it's okay to want to be financially free. Sometimes that's just going out on a limb, putting the labor in so that you can yield the profit.
Come on, man. And me personally, man, my reasons for getting to that financially freedom, that financial freedom, is so that I can detach from a lot of the stuff that people worry about and stress about, making ends meet. That way I can put that focus back where it needs to be. Because that's the whole point of it all, right? Whether we get married, whether we get jobs, all of that stuff, is to find a way where we can take all of that free time that we now have, right? Now that I'm married, I don't have to stress about getting a wife. Now I can set apart that time for the Lord that I can, right? When I'm financially freedom, all that time I spent stressing, trying to figure out how I was going to get it. Now that I got it, now I can put that stuff back in to the Most High, right? Now I can multiply that talent as well, instead of, and that's where it comes from, receiving that grace and that mercy. It's not always like the brother brought up the song, right? Like the brother The Rock was saying in his song, you know what I'm saying? This was given to me so I can make way and do what's right with it, and put back forth what the free time that I have now. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. No, I'm
Yeah,
kind of all over the place, but
yeah.
yeah.
The brothers, they always get on me about taking some things too serious sometimes, right? Well, not recently, but when we first got together, you know what I'm saying? Because I was a big fan of Solomon, Vanity of Vanities, right? And I think I made a lesson also about God don't want us to go on vacation, right? But I'll say this, right? Like the brother said, our free time should be devoted back to the Most High once we come to the knowledge of this truth. And a lot of times the Most High don't bless us because he knows what we're going to do with the money. He know we're going to take time off. He know we're going to make excuses. He know that we're going to be slothful in his work. So
Right.
you got to
Where,
question. You gotta,
where does where does it end, right? Because a lot of, like what the brother's saying, not to cut you off, but where does it end? Like, you might be saying, Lord, just let me get this job, and I promise you, you know what I'm saying, I'll be fulfilled and I can focus more on you. But then you get that job, and then you looking for the next job, right? You know what I'm saying? Where does it end? Because there's got to be a point where we're content with what we're given, right? When everything is taken care for and whatnot, there's got to be a point where we don't need no need for spoil, right? And give me poverty, don't give me poverty, don't give me riches, right? To where we can say, okay, I got it, I got the means, I can live comfortably, effortlessly now. Now all that effort that I have, I can put back towards you, towards your kingdom, right? To going out on the streets and spreading your gospel, right? That's where it gets to. But a lot of us, we let that the cares of the world choke us out, and when we get to that next thing, then we got to get that next thing, and it's just never a never satisfied spirit, and it constantly takes away from you and the Most High, right? It says a man that's constantly worried about his craft will never be in the places where parables are said, right? Because he's always worried about his craft and his perfectionist. There's got to be a limit to it all, because it's all carnal. Don't get it twisted. This video is about carnality, but at the end of the day, there's a limit to carnality. There's no
right,
limit to being spiritual, but there's a limit to carnality.
right, because Solomon said all is vanity, everything. Even when you do something good, is for self benefit, right? Makes you feel good. But also think about how the Most High talked to David. He said, "You're gonna go and do this in the midst of me, and name something that I haven't given you. Everything that you wanted, I gave you, and you still want more. You still want to do, you know what I'm saying? So that's like Adam and Eve. I gave you everything, but you still want that tree, right?
Right.
There's always in this flesh, we're gonna always want more, and that's where self-discipline comes in,
And
right?
Salakia too, before the brother read his closing precept, the thing is, it's just like sometimes you got to take it back to that original Solomon. And original Solomon was when he first came king, that prayer that he prayed for wisdom. The Most High granted him what he wanted because he didn't pray for the riches of the earth. He didn't pray for the most women. He prayed for wisdom. You know what I'm saying? He prayed for the right thing. And a lot of times when you start in businesses, you're trying to bargain the Most High to get your blessing. Lord, if you just give me, I'll do. Lord, if you just give me, I'll do. No, do what you're supposed to be doing already. Whatever you trying to ask the Lord for, Do it already, because we may not have them same type of grace and mercy that our forefathers had when just like Jephthah, when he prayed to the Most High and said, hey, if you deliver them to my hand, I'll do what you need to do. And the Most High gave, who did they fight against? The Ammonites, I think. I think it was the Ammonites that they fought against in Judges. And when the Lord delivered the Ammonites into his hand, then he fulfilled the request of the Lord. But nowadays, you may not have that same type of grace and mercy that David had, Solomon had. So pray for the right thing. Don't pray for a job that makes you the most money. Pray for a job that you will find, if you do it every day, it doesn't feel like work to you. Something that'll keep you consistent. Something that'll keep you coming back in a righteous manner. Something that you feel like that can benefit you and your family. Don't give me poverty, but don't give me riches, right? A lot of people trying to pray for a Hellcat. A lot of people trying to pray for, you know what I'm saying, houses and all these materialistic things, man. Pray for a job that'll fulfill your life. And if you're starting a business, pray for a business that, again, when you work, it's not like work to you, because you're doing it with pleasure, with a smile on your face, like Chick-fil-A employees.
That way you can take that extra energy and give it back to the spreading of this gospel, man. Stop wanting that Hellcat that's gonna keep you on the road 24/7 just because you like the way your wheels turn. Pray for a vehicle that's safe and that can get you to A to B to get you behind the camp, right? You know what I'm saying? You gotta, when you pray for these things, man, pray for that contentment that, you know, you're satisfied and you're fulfilled. But at the end of the day, it leaves you enough energy to put the rest of your energy within the Most High, right? Could you read Romans 8:28 right now? If you can click that for me and read it, we can end on this.
Lord knew not to give me a Hellcat, because I'd be on the streets right now, full of video. You know, Romans chapter 8, verse 28, though, it says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose.
Man, you know, we talk about all the time, the Most High has an expected end for all of us, man. He doesn't want us begging for bread. You know what I'm saying? He says he's gonna take care of us better than he take care of the birds and the flowers, which he clothes and which he feeds every day, right? Better than that crackhead. He says he promises us these things, right? You know what I'm saying? But one, you got to check your heart posture, right? Why do you want these things, right? And are you diligent enough to take care of both jobs? We talk about all the time, both jobs, the job that you want and the spiritual job, right? Because like the brother was saying, man, you could say, when I get this and the third, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but why can't you do it right now, right? You say, man, I want this job so it'll allow me to have more time for you, Lord, right? What's stopping you from on your journey to that job, carving out some time for the Lord, whether it's a little bit of time right now or not, right? He wants to see that you can do that. So when he finally gives it to you, he knows you being for real. You got to check your heart on those things, on your wants and your needs too, on why you need that financial freedom, because that might be the hiccup on why your hope is being deferred as well, because the Most High is working on your heart. But at the end of the day, man, God does want you to reap some benefits, man. It's all throughout the scriptures. It's nothing wrong with having a level of contentment and enjoying you know, the time here in your captivity as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? But it's all up to you, your diligence, right, and your heart posture, right? But with that, you know, I ain't got nothing else.
I'm gonna just say, hey, look, Psalms 37:25, man, I've been young and now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread, man. So it all goes back to being righteous. Again, that righteousness is keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And again, pray the right prayers. Like the brothers did, the brother Azrael, I think, did a video. You know, he asked amiss. People got to start praying the right prayers, man, and pray with true contention. Stop praying for the Most High to give you the most time in the day. No, ask the Most High to help you use the time that you have wisely. Hey, stop asking the Lord to give you the most money. Hey, ask him to help you be a good steward of what you have in your bank account right now. And if you don't got nothing, ask him to help you, you know, find a way to be able to create income. That way you can be a good steward of whatever income he gives you. You know what I'm saying? Start praying the right prayers, doing the right things, because that's like brother's been saying, that's Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things shall be added unto you. You're not going to halfway to the Lord I'm gonna do this if you give me this. Nah, you do what you need to do first. Then the Lord will say, okay, I get to you.
Con, mighty. Hey, look, man, and that made me think of something right before I let you go, Azrael, because it looked like you wanted to say something too. But you okay, Con, but that made me think of something, right? Now I had a gut check myself because I was buying all these things for myself. I was buying all this stuff for my dog, stuff like that. Not realizing that I was neglecting my first job, which is to promote this gospel, right? I was supposed to bend by the signs, right? Finally got them, but supposed to bend by the signs, supposed to buy the microphone to help more legitimize our work for the Lord, right? You know what I'm saying? But yet I'm looking to buy other things to try to help advance my carnal life. You know what I'm saying? So it's both in duality, right? You saying you want this stuff so you can do X, Y, and Z, but what are you putting forth to help the kingdom of God come forth, right? Because that work, that money, that time, that effort is not going in vain either. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about being a brand ambassador. As we're brand ambassadors for the kingdom, we get in what we put out. You know what I'm saying? You put in quality, you're gonna get it, you're gonna get out some quality, right? Some quality around you spiritually. You know what I'm saying? But if you just, you got a paper, brother, you printed out a paper, it's not a laminated, nothing. You go throw it down on the ground. You say, hey, look, man, this is, a sign, and then it done rain, so the colors are bleeding together and stuff like that, right? Man, you get in what you put in, right? So take the time and make sure that your work for the Most High is as good as the work that you're going to be putting in for yourself. It really better. You know what I'm saying? But with that, man, we give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This has been a Think About It Thursday. We do so by way of his son, who was an instrument of salvation for the nation. Remember, if you're not helping gather, you're scattering. If you're not gathering, you're scattering. This is the Hopeful Elect, man. We'll see you guys next time. Remember, man, stay diligent. Check that heart posture. Study hard, man. Work hard, and maybe you'll get that financial freedom you've been longing for instead of having your hope deferred. I'm Brother Denal.
Brother Azrael.
Brother Yeshaya.
And we say shalom.
Shalom.